Om, the science of sleep according to Ayurveda. Hari Om, Namaskars, dear friends. Western science is yet to tell us how we go to sleep and why we go to sleep. Ayurveda says something about it. This video is about this science of going to sleep. I shall read. One reason it is difficult to get a handle on why we sleep is that sleep is actually pretty difficult to isolate and study. Sleep deprivation studies are the most common way to study sleep, said Marcos Frank, a neuroscientist at the University of Washington. But this doesn't explain why we go to sleep. Next, we have the concept of REM sleep and non-REM sleep. What is REM sleep? Rapid eye movement sleep, that is deep sleep. The first part of the cycle is non-REM sleep. As you cycle into the REM sleep, the eyes move rapidly behind closed lids. But this again is not an explanation of why we go to sleep. Till now, medical science hasn't been able to tell us why exactly we go to sleep. Therefore, they declare, scientists simply don't know for sure. In broad terms, researchers believe it's to enable our bodies and especially our brains to recover. Finally, we have some Western scientists like Professor Michael Nethergaard at the University of Rochester Medical Center saying that sleep is also an opportunity for the brain to be cleared of waste. Amazing. He says he discovered a network of microscopic fluid-filled channels in rats that clears waste chemicals from the brain. This much about science and sleep. Now we shall go to Ayurveda. Ayurveda, since the last 35 to 40,000 years, if not more, has decided upon the three factors that rule our lives, internally and externally. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Prakriti is formed of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. These three they are very sure of. And there the scientist Sushruta declares as such. Hridayam yadashraya dhamanya pranavaha tasyadho vamatah pliha fusfusascha dakshinato yakrit klomacha tad visheshena chetanasthanam astasmins tamasavృతే sarvapraninaः swapanti. So the great Sushruta explains how the dhamanis which carry pranavaha, blood, to the heart, and that heart is surrounded by the lungs and so on. And then he says chetanasthanam. Heart is the center of consciousness. So this is the central concept of Hindu dharma or Vedantika dharma or Sanatana dharma, Ayurveda and so on. Heart is the center of consciousness. When this heart, that is the prana vayus, etc., are enveloped by tamas, sarva praninaः swapanti. Tamas takes us to sleep. We have also read that sleep is also an opportunity for the brain to be cleared of waste. A network of microscopic fluid-filled channels are cleansed. That's what the scientist says. Similarly, Sushruta also mentions that tatra yada sanya vahani srotansi tamo bhuishtah shleshma pratipadyate. Sanya vahani means sensory network. When the sensory network is filled with shleshma, that is waste things, it's all cleansed during sleep. Further, sleep is an opportunity to organize all the thoughts that we have done during the course of the day. So it's a great thing that Sushruta already mentioned thousands of years ago. Then he says, Bhavati Chatra, Pundarikena Sadrisham Hridayam Syad Adhomukham. The heart is of the shape of an inverted lotus bud, says Sushruta. This is a very amazing comparison. Jagatastat vikasati, swapatascha nimilati. Just see the comparison. Thousands of years ago. When there is the sun, the lotus blooms. When there is no sun, the lotus go to sleep, as it were. He says, similarly, when a person is asleep, as it were, the heart goes to sleep or contracts. When a person is awake, it's in full bloom, as it were. How does a heart, the human heart for instance, bloom out and become a bud again? Is this possible? So when a person is asleep, the activities of the heart are reduced. And when a person is awake and active, the heart becomes more active, pumps more blood and so on. Now this is an exact resonance with what medical science says today. According to doctors, I read, good quality sleep decreases the work of your heart as blood pressure and heart rate go down at night. Heart goes to sleep as it were. Scientists know that, but science cannot say why a person has to go to sleep or why a person goes to sleep. And that's where Sushruta or Ayurveda comes in. This is the importance of Ayurvedic science. So, Hridayam Chetana Sthana Muktam Sushruta Dehinam Tamobhibhute Tasminstu Nidra Vishati Dehinam. Once again, repeating what he said, Sushruta clears the thing and says, Hridayam Chetana Sthana, and the heart is the center of consciousness. Uktam Sushruta Dehinam, of all the living beings. Then he says, Tamo Vibhute Tasminstu, when it is enveloped by darkness, tamas. Darkness in the sense tamas. Tamas just doesn't mean inactivity and darkness. There are several layers to this tamas. So when tamas comes, the heart goes to sleep. Nidra Vishati Dehinam. That's when the living being goes to sleep. Nidra hetus tamaha sattvam bodhane heturuchyate. So why do living beings go to sleep? What's the reason? What's the change that's happening there? Due to tamas. Sattvam bodhane heturuchyate, he says. When there is the sattva quality, the predominance of sattva, a person is awake. So sattva and tamas. Rajas means continuous activity. When there is this involuntary tamas, when there is the predominance of tamas, a person goes to sleep. In 24 hours, we have to sleep. Therefore, Sushruta warns us that we have to sleep at regular intervals and so on. He says, Tasman na jagriyad ratro diva swapnam cha varjayet. He says, O living beings, don't be awake all night. And again, diva swapnam cha varjayet. Don't sleep during the day. Gyatva dosha karaveto buddha swapnam mitam charet. Knowing the difficulties caused by these two states of wrong living, a person, an intelligent being, will live well. Sushruta gives an idea about how to live a full life of 100 years. He says, Arogaha sumana hevam balavarnanvito vrishaha nati sthula krishaha shriman naro jivet samaha shatam. You have to live 100 years. How can you do that? Aroga, without any disease. Sumana, with a cheerful, happy, healthy mind. Bala varnanvito vrisha. You have to be like a vrisha, very strong personality. And then nati sthula krishaha shriman. You should not be extremely fat or extremely thin. That is, maintain your physique. Work hard. Do exercises. Such a Shriman, a person who is a glorious person, Jivet Samaha Shatam, 100 years. Sushruta also says why we have insomnia, what are the cues for it, and so on. That will be very lengthy, so we end it here. Thank you very much. Jai Ma Sharada. Namaskars.